what's happening at Hallas Hall right now. A decision that could completely change our backfield is on the table as Ryan Poles watches options fade away. And you know what's crazy? While some teams act, we're still waiting for the perfect moment. But that's nothing compared to what's next. We've got our second round pick, that receiver everyone expected to shine with Caleb Williams. And it turns out he's been out with a mysterious injury since rookie minicamp. Soft tissue injury? Really? What do we do about the chemistry between quarterback and receiver now? And when you thought we were done, I have the biggest bombshell. A veteran pass rusher who could complete the NFC North teams just made it clear where he doesn't want to play. Guess which team isn't on his priority list? Exactly! The Bears are nowhere to be found in his plans. Do you think Ryan Poles has everything under control in the backfield? Because I'm going to tell you something that will keep you up all night. After seeing Nick Chubb go to Houston and J.K. Dobbins land in Denver, I'm starting to wonder if our GM is playing 4D chess or just hoping miracles fall from the sky like manna. The reality is brutal, folks. We had Nick Chubb available, a running back who, when healthy, is one of the best in the league. And what happened? Houston grabbed him while we kept evaluating options. Then we had J.K. Dobbins, who showed flashes of greatness with Baltimore. And guess what? Denver acted fast while we stayed in analysis mode. In the end, we got Kyle Monangai in the 7th round as our only running back acquisition. Kyle Monangai from Rutgers. I respect the kid, but let's be honest. Is he the answer to our offensive problems? Is he going to carry the load when DeAndre Swift isn't available? Because here's the reality no one wants to admit. Swift had brilliant moments last year, but also those injuries that left us short at crucial times. Ralshawn Johnson is there, and Ryan Poles talks nicely about him, saying he'll have a more physical role this season. But I ask you, if Poles had so much confidence in Johnson, why did fans spend the whole offseason asking for reinforcements? And don't give me the draft didn't fall right story. Wasn't Ashton Jeanty available? Did Omari and Hampton vanish? Didn't Trevain Henderson and Quinton Judkins exist? The reality is that Poles chose not to invest early draft capital in this position, and now we're paying the consequences. But here comes what really worries me, the strategy of waiting for cuts. Poles apparently is waiting for when teams reduce their rosters to 53 players. Some veteran running back might become available. Seriously? Is that our big strategy? Waiting for scraps when we could have been proactive? And don't talk to me about potential trades, because that's even worse. Kenneth Walker from Seattle has buzz among fans, but the kid's in his last contract here. Are you going to give valuable picks for a player who might leave as a free agent after a season? That would be like buying a used car without a warranty. Travis, Etienne from Jacksonville is another option mentioned. But here's the reality. If Etienne is buried as a third option in Jacksonville, what does that say about his current value? And even if we get him, what guarantee do we have that he wants to be in Chicago when he could go to a real contender? The truth is, it seems to me that Poles is trying to be the smartest guy in the room while other teams act. Houston didn't wait. Denver didn't wait. But we're still in evaluation mode, as if we had all the time in the world. And you know what's most frustrating? We've got Caleb Williams entering his second season. We've got a new offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson, who worked magic in Detroit. And it turns out we could be limited by not having real depth in the backfield. Imagine if Swift gets injured in week 3. Is Ralshawn Johnson going to carry the entire offense? Is Kyle Monangai, a 7th round rookie, going to be the difference between playoffs and staying home? I believe Poles is betting his evaluation of Johnson is correct, that Swift stays healthy all season and that Monangai can contribute immediately. But those are a lot of bets for a franchise that hasn't won anything significant in decades. If you thought the backfield situation was worrying, wait till I tell you the real story about Luther Burden III. And here's where things get serious, folks, because we're talking about our second round pick, the receiver who was supposed to form an explosive connection with Caleb Williams from the get-go. Luther Burden III has been out since rookie minicamp with what the team calls a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injury? And we have to wait until training camp to see him in action. For the first time, I'll tell you this and listen closely. In the NFL, time is everything. And every day this kid isn't on the field is a day lost forever. Because here's what really has me upset. While Luther Burden is watching from the stands, Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams are there developing extra chemistry and voluntary practices. Do you know what that means for the receiver hierarchy? Do you know how trust between a quarterback and a receiver is built? With repetitions, with timing, with hours and hours of joint work. Ben Johnson can say Burden will be ready for training. Camp! But I'll ask this. How much adaptation time does a rookie need who has already lost crucial weeks of preparing in the most important system of their career? Because it's not just about learning routes, it's understanding Caleb's audibles, knowing exactly where to be when pressure comes. It's developing that chemistry that separates the great duos from the mediocre. And here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Colston Loveland, our first-round pick, is also out until July due to surgery. So we have our top 2 draft picks, the 2 pieces that were supposed to transform our offense immediately, and neither of them can contribute when we need them the most. Do you realize what this means for Caleb Williams' development, his second year, which is supposed to be when quarterbacks make the big leap and his main weapons are in rehab? It's like giving someone a Ferrari but without tires. But here's what really concerns me about Burden's situation. These soft tissue injuries in rookies sometimes are more complicated than they seem. I've seen too many times how a minor injury in minicamp turns into a nightmare lasting the entire rookie season. Do you remember Kevin White? Do you remember how a minor injury turned into a ruined career? I'm not saying Burden is on the same path, but in Chicago, we've seen this movie too many times not to be worried. And there's something else that bothers me. The team's communication. Soft tissue injury says nothing. Is it a muscle? Is it a tendon? Is it something that can easily aggravate? Fans deserve more information, especially when we're talking about a second-round pick in whom we've placed so many hopes. Meanwhile, Rome Odunze is there taking advantage of every extra rep, every opportunity to connect with Caleb. And I don't blame him. He's doing what he needs to secure his place in the hierarchy. But that means when Burden returns, he's going to be behind in developing timing and chemistry. The reality is Burden is going to need to make up lost weeks in a very short period. Training camp is intense, but it's not the same as having been there from the start, building that relationship step by step with his quarterback. And you know what worries me most? That if Burden isn't fully ready for the regular season, we'll have to depend more than expected on veteran receivers or less proven options. In a division as competitive as the NFC North, we can't afford to have doubts about our receiver group. I hope that when Burden returns, he's 100% and ready to make the impact we expect. But I can't ignore the red flags. In Chicago, we've learned to be skeptical until proven otherwise. But here comes what really has me off balance. What has me more upset than a Bears fan watching Green Bay win at Soldier Field? Za'Darius Smith, the veteran pass rusher who could literally complete his NFC North tour by coming to Chicago, just gave us the most public slap we've received in years. At the BET Awards, Smith was straightforward like an arrow to the heart. We know where I want to be. Let's hope I can go back to Detroit because the coaching staff and everybody in the front office are great. And the Bears didn't even mention us, not a word about us. Didn't even consider us as an option. Do you know what that says about our reputation in the free agency market? Do you know what it means when a veteran who's played for Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit prefers to stay with the Lions rather than even consider moving to Chicago? This is more than just a rejection, folks. This is a statement about how veteran players see us in this league. And the truth hurts, but it needs to be said. We're seen as that franchise that's always building, always a piece away, but never anyone's final destination. Because look at the numbers. We have $14.7 million in cap space available. We have an obvious need for pass rush depth with Dominique Robinson and Austin Booker as our depth options. Behind Montez Sweat and Dayo Odeyingbo, Smith would fit perfectly into our scheme, and we could probably offer him as much or more money than the Lions. But he doesn't even consider us. Why? Because Detroit has something we don't. Immediate winning culture. They have a system that works. They have a proven coaching staff. They have a recent track record of success that players respect. And here's the part that hurts the most. Smith talks about wanting to influence young players in Detroit, specifically Aiden Hutchinson. Do you know what that means? It means he sees Detroit as a place where he can contribute to something special, where he can be part of something big. And what do we offer? Potential. Next year will be different. We have all the pieces. The same phrases we've been using for decades. The reality is Smith signed a 2-year, $23 million deal with Detroit last year. The Lions cut him in March to save $5.7 million in cap space, but he wants to return there for less money. Do you understand what that means? He'd rather earn less with a contender than earn more with us. And don't tell me we don't need him. Dominique Robinson has 2 sacks in 3 seasons. Austin Booker had 1.5 sacks as a rookie. Ben Johnson can talk nicely about how Robinson looks good and has a quick first step. But the reality is those comments came after watching him work without pads against inexperienced tackles like Kieran Amagaji and Ozzy Trapilo. Is that our depth in pass rush? Are we seriously going to trust Robinson finally makes the leap in his 4th season when he hasn't shown anything consistent in his first 3? Smith had 4 sacks in 8 games after Detroit got him in a trade with Cleveland. That's immediate. Production, that's what we need behind Sweat and Odeyingbo. But he prefers to return to Detroit even after being cut. And you know what's the most frustrating? While Smith refuses to even consider us, other available pass rushers like Matthew Judon, Jadeveon Clowney, and Preston Smith are probably seeing this situation and thinking the same. If Smith doesn't want to come to Chicago, why should they? This exposes a bigger problem in our organization. We're not attractive to veterans who want to win now. We're seen as a developmental franchise, a place where young players go to learn, but not where veterans go to win championships. And the truth is that as long as we have that reputation, we're going to keep being the second option for everyone. We're going to continue losing bidding wars, not for money, but for respect and reputation. We need a change in mentality in this organization. We need to start acting like contenders, not as hopefuls. Because as long as we're the team of the future, the Za'Darius Smiths of the world are gonna keep choosing Detroit, Green Bay, or anywhere else before Chicago. These 3 pieces of news have me up at night, folks, because they all point to the same thing. We're at a historic crossroads as a franchise. Either we make the leap this year, or we keep being that organization that always promises but never delivers. Do you think Ryan Poles should have been more aggressive in getting an established running back? Or do you trust that Kyle Monagai could be that hidden gem from the 7th round? Is the waiting for cuts strategy a smart move, or a sign that we lack the urgency to compete? What do you think about Luther Burden III losing valuable development time with Caleb Williams? Is it just normal medical precaution, or are there reasons to worry about the early injury pattern in Chicago? Can Romo Dunn seize this opportunity to establish himself as option number 2? Or do we need Burden back at 100% for our offense to function? And the question that hurts my heart the most, is Za'Darius Smith a real loss that will affect our season? Or is his public rejection a symptom of a bigger problem in how veteran players perceive us in this league? Because I'll tell you something, I believe these decisions, these situations, these rejections will define if 2025 is finally our year, or if we remain that eternal next year will be different franchise. And you Bears family are an essential part of this conversation. Your opinions matter. Your passion is what keeps hope alive in this city. And together we have to demand more from this organization. If you believe Poles is executing the right strategy, and that these situations are part of a master plan like this video, and let me know in the comments why you have that confidence. If, on the contrary, you think we need more aggressiveness, more urgency, more respect in the player market, subscribe to the channel, because we will continue analyzing every move until the Bears become the respected franchise we deserve. This community is more than a YouTube channel. We are a family that bleeds navy and orange since we were born, that has suffered decades of mediocrity but never loses faith. We are the ones who shout "bear down" when everybody counts us out. The ones who defend our team even when they sometimes break our hearts. I need you to subscribe, not only to support the channel, but because together we will make the real voice of Chicago heard throughout the NFL. We will demand transparency when our picks get injured. We will question strategies when we see other teams surpass us. And we will celebrate when finally things go right. Comment your most honest opinions about these 3 situations. Which one worries you the most? Which one do you think will have the biggest impact on our season? What would you do if you were Ryan Poles right now? And share this content, because we need more Bears fans to join this conversation. We need the whole city of Chicago to know what's really happening at Hallis Hall. Not just the edited versions. The traditional media give us Bear Down to the Death family, and see you in the next video where we'll keep tearing down every news, every rumor, every decision that moves this franchise toward glory or another season of disappointment. Da Bears, forever.